You are listening to Married to the Rings podcast, the show that brings you remarkable relationship tools and resources with your host, your gal, Tanya Williamson. Thank you for joining me on day 9 of the 8-week challenge, evaluating the state of your relationship amid COVID-19. Our goal for this challenge is to help you achieve your goals and dreams in your personal and professional relationships. Today, we are going to talk to you about, was the 8 hours away from your partner your way of escape prior to COVID-19's quarantine? If this is you, we'd like to challenge you to capture. Now pay close attention to that word, capture your spouse or partner's attention instead of finding ways to escape from your spouse or partner before returning physically back to work or while working remotely from the comfort of your home. Some would say, having my spouse or partner working remotely from home is a benefit because they have more time to see their partner. But for those who fit this category, that would not be the case because you enjoy the time away. And you are like, oh my, he or she is home. What if I told you that maybe, just maybe, being quarantined came to expose a virus that has been plaguing your relationship altogether? Did you ever think that maybe in this quarantine, the isolation is now giving both of you the opportunity to confront and address the areas that were compounding in your relationship that required immediate attention? So, Dr. Williamson, we've been here before in our marriage, haven't we? Both self-employed, running different companies, buried in our work.
Yes, we have, Tanya.
You funny. Yes, we have, Tanya. Matter of fact, I even mentioned this briefly in my book, The Setback Fueled My Faith, on how in my first marriage, I buried myself in work to avoid confronting or addressing personal matters at home. So, Dr. Williamson, what is your take on this?
I would look at this as a comparison to having an affair. And in an affair, what you do is that the affair becomes your priority. So what you do is you give it time. It costs you money. And it deals with selfishness. And there is a thin line between being selfish and selfless. In a relationship, it's about being selfless and making your spouse a priority. I categorize this as an affair because this is where you get all your attention to cause the other spouse to become jealous. And where there is envy and strife, evil runs rampant.
Ooh. Where there is envy and strife, evil runs rampant. It creates an open door, ladies, gentlemen. It creates an open door. Dr. Williamson, you said a mouthful. You said a mouthful.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything else there?
Yeah. What happens is when we start to go into two different directions, now the enemy has a way to come in. And as he comes in, he starts to put thoughts in our minds. And where the mind goes, the body follows. So this is something we talked about in the last podcast. Negative interpretation.
Wow.
And because of the thoughts, everything starts with a thought. So that's where one is thinking something other than what is true. So you don't want to leave a door open because that gives the enemy an opportunity to cause havoc in your relationship. So you must stay connected.
And you must find ways to stay connected.
Yes.
I remember on page 73 of The Setback Fueled My Faith, in paragraph 3, I mentioned that you must be okay with going into isolation when appropriate. And I know a lot of people weren't okay with this isolation. They weren't okay with this quarantine. But in this section of the book, I talk about it's so important for you to discover the underlying truth about yourself and those behaviors and habits that are ungodly and may affect your future in the long term if not properly addressed. So remember this, and we've spoken about this in this challenge, that in a relationship, when the communication is healthy, which is what all of our goals are, each person is communicating well. Conflicts can be handled in a way that does not damage your sense of closeness. And in addition to that, I think Gerald mentioned something as well. It's important to listen to understand and study the person you are communicating so you can be mindful of your tone, the timing, and the method and how you communicate with each other. What's key here, though, I mean, would you like to add anything, Gerald, with regards to?
Yeah, you have to find ways to restore the relationship. It's important to have the way to have a healthy relationship is by feeding it good things. So what you have to do is go back to some of the, down memory lane and do some of the things that you used to do together. You got to find ways to bring the joy back, the fun back into your relationship. And, go through some old photos. Let's play some games together. Let's watch a comedy. Let's laugh. Laughter is good for the soul. So you got to find ways to be able to recreate the relationship, to put it in into a healthy environment, because the attitude and the environment, if it's not positive and it's negative and there's tension, that leaves room for the enemy to run rampant. So you just got to find solutions and ways to be able to bring the relationship together when you're drifting apart.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And this is why we are having this 8-week challenge. And we want you to go back and look at podcasts, 1 through 8, grab some nuggets, pull out your journal, jot down a list of qualities, opportunities, strengths, the weaknesses, which are similar to opportunities, and work on some positive solutions customized specifically for you and your partner. I want to thank you for joining us today on Married to the Rings podcast. And I want to make sure to visit our website at marriedtothering.com, where you can actually purchase the Setback Fuel My Faith and subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and so many more outlets, so you will never miss a show. While you are at it, if you found value in today's show, we would appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you would simply tell a friend about the show, that will help us out too. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our next episode. So lace up your gloves, stay connected, and prepare to deliver the giants who have threatened your love life the ultimate knockout blow.